Hey everybody, and welcome back to 30-Minute Author. I am really happy to be here today. We're going to talk about creating reader profiles. What's a reader profile? Well, I'm glad you're here to ask. Why should you care about them? We're going to learn more why you should care about them and how they're going to help you sell more books. So, let's get started. Maybe. Hold on. Technical difficulties, it's okay. There we go. So, why do people buy books? Well, there's a lot of reasons that people buy books. Some people buy books because they want to escape, even if that's a world of fantasy and fiction, or if that's to another time and another place through a nonfiction book. And speaking of nonfiction, they also want to learn about things. Maybe they want to learn how to cook a new way. Maybe they want to do better at their job. Maybe they want to learn how to put on eye makeup just right. I totally could use to learn how to do that. Also to feel better about themselves. One of the prime motivators of behavior is perception. If I do this, will other people think that I am better? Whether their better is smarter, wiser, more spiritual, more evolved, prettier, fancier, skinnier, healthier, wealthier, whatever that thing is that they want. In the back of their minds, that's oftentimes a real big driver for their behavior. So why do they buy a book? Because they want somebody to think something else of them. Now, this is not going to be like a top of the mind thing like, holy cow, you know what? I am totally going to go out and buy a copy of War and Peace, because if I buy a copy of War and Peace, everyone will think I'm smart. Generally speaking, although maybe that's crossed through people's minds, that's not the way the thought pattern works. Instead, it's way back in the back of their head that says, you know what? Smart people read War and Peace. I should buy a copy of War and Peace so people think I'm smart. And then their conscious mind translates that into some type of a thought that causes them to buy it. Hey, look, War and Peace. You know, a lot of people read that. I should buy it. And the other one is to be inspired. And again, this can come from fiction and nonfiction. I mean, personally, I think Lord of the Rings is one of the most inspiring books there is. Or it can be somebody who loves B. Renee Brown. I'm always not sure if I'm saying her name right. If I'm saying her name right, let me know. If I'm not, please correct me. But they're looking for something that gives them a little bit of light, a little bit of hope. Basically, they want to solve a need, whether that need is to escape, to learn something, to feel better about themselves, or to be inspired to do new things. So here's the question. Okay, you're trying to write a book, right? How do you find out what they need? Well, there's a couple different ways to do that, and we're going to go in depth on one of the methods, but we'll, do this real quick. So, social media. Take a look at what's going on in hashtags. Take a look at what's going on in trending topics. See what people are talking about and searching for. Surveys and conversations, those relate to the reader profiles, and we're going to get to those in 1 second. And buying habits. So look at what people are buying on Amazon. If you have access to insight tools that tell you what people are buying, where, when, why, and how, use those to see what needs people are trying to fulfill at this time. But one of my favorite ways is called a reader profile. And we're going to get into that now. So, I had mentioned surveys. Now you can do a survey without making a reader profile. The survey should be about 3 to 5 questions, should take no more than 3 minutes to answer, and then at the end, ask them if you can contact them for a follow-up conversation. So these would be those really quick surveys that say things like, how many ways do you purchase toilet paper? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite thing about Christmas? What's one problem I can help you solve in your business? What do you wish the world would look like? How would you make the world a better place? So you get a lot of data, but it's not specific data, but it gives you enough that you can actually start building upon it. Now, the reason you ask them if you can contact them for a follow-up conversation is to build a reader profile. So, what is a reader profile? Thank you, Slide, for asking. A reader profile is it can be anywhere from like 2 to 3 sentences to 2 to 3 pages of information about your reader. Now, this is not an individual person, this is a conglomerate of people who fit a certain type. So that when you are writing something, you can say, okay, so this book is specifically for Bill, a 52-year-old veteran who enjoys hockey. Very specific, and it helps you like place in mind, okay, so would Bill care about this? Would Bill be interested by this? Does this help Bill out? I don't think this helps Bill out, so I need to fix it. The reader profiles help you keep the need of the reader in mind by giving you specifics to focus on. So they contain things like, age, gender, lifestyle, pain points. Do they have kids? Do they not have kids? Do they have pets? Do they have dogs? Do they eat okra? Do they eat tofu? All these different things that you need to create content that is relevant to them. And outside of in marketing, you can hear them called avatars. So it's the same concept if you are in the marketing world. So, how do you create a reader profile? It's simple, but not simple. So the first step is to craft a questionnaire. Figure out the questions or the information that you need to make a good book, and don't leave anything out. You want minute details. Like I said, do they eat okra? Okay, what's their favorite foods? What time of the day do they like to go to bed? What time of the day do they like to get up? Are they busy? How many kids do they have? How many car trips do they go back and forth? All this little detailed information. Now, you can do that yourself, or you can do what I did, and what I'm going to show you in a second, is go and grab one from the internet. There's a lot of companies that have put out free questionnaires that you can use in exchange for your email address. So if you don't mind getting a few emails or hitting the unsubscribe after you get your questionnaire, you're good to go. I grabbed mine from Ryan Deiss, and I haven't hit unsubscribe yet, so that's good, right? And you use this to guide the conversation with your reader. Hopefully in person, but if not in person, over the phone or over Skype. You don't want them to fill this out on their own. You want to ask the questions and be talking to them, so if they say something interesting, you can ask them to elaborate in the moment instead of having to worry that, okay, they're not, fudge. I really want to know what Sandra meant by Legos, but I sent her an email and she hasn't returned it back. By talking to them in person, you get to build a relationship, and you also get the opportunity to go deeper down the rabbit hole with them. So once you've created that reader profile, you add in your survey data. So, okay, so this is Joni. Joni fits the survey data that I got for women who are in the 35 to 50 age range. So let's add in some of the survey data from there to build out and flesh out this profile. Now, my recommendation is to create at least 4 of these profiles and give them all names. Don't just call them customer 1, customer 2, reader 1, reader 2. Give them specific names. It might be helpful to take a picture, find a picture of the internet. Hey, look, Joni is here today. She's being played by Mandy Moore. I don't know. Whatever it is you see in your mind when you see your reader, find a celebrity that matches that. So here we're looking at, and this is what I got from Ryan Deiss. It says customer avatar, but just as easily, it can say, it's a reader profile. So we've got age, gender, marital status, age of the kids, if any, location, challenges and pain points. This is way more important if you are writing a nonfiction book, especially if you're writing a book that you're hoping to solve problems with. It's still good for a fiction reader because you don't want to put something in there that might be challenging or harmful to your reader. For example, if you were writing for college-age girls, there's a significant portion of college-age girls that have been sexually assaulted. So you, as the author, have to decide, Do I want to talk about sexual assault in my books and risk hurting with them? Or do I want to deal with it in a way that might be healing to them? So the pain points are still important to fiction authors, maybe just not quite as driving. Same thing for goals and values. If you are writing a romance novel, you already know that there's certain things you have to follow in that genre. But by understanding what the goals and values that your reader, what they really want out of life, you can write them a fantasy. And let's be honest, most romances are fantasy. Let's be real. But you can write them the fantasy where they get that goal, where they get those values that they want so much out of life. So down here, sources of information. Where do they get their information from? So not only does this help you build a habit for your profile, but it also gives you the opportunity to see where you need to market and where you need to be. So if you do a couple reader profiles and you find out that absolutely none of your readers are on LinkedIn, you don't need to waste so much time on LinkedIn, at least for your book anyway. Conferences. This way you can figure out, okay, so that's where they're at, so I'm going to go hang out at this conference for health insurance providers. That way I can get my book in front of more people who are interested in deregulating or regulating the health insurance industry. So this here, objections and role in the purchase process, so this is where it's not a perfect thing. I would actually replace this with something else, something that was a little more germane to my book's topic. And again, that would depend on each one. Here, the occupation, the job title, the annual income, the level of education, what that's going to do is that's going to inform your level of writing. Most adults read and comprehend easily on a 6th grade level. It doesn't matter if they've been to college, if they've had graduate degrees, whatever. The quickest and easiest way for them to read is when the writing is done on a 6th grade level. So that lets you know, okay, so most of my readers have college degrees. I can maybe go a little bit higher in my writing style. Maybe I can introduce some harder topics or some harder equations. On the other hand, if more of your readers have less education, then you may want to consider going simpler and going more direct with your reading or writing. So here's an example of one. So that's Joan. Doesn't she have pretty eyes? I think she's got pretty eyes. She's a female. She's 37 and she is into yoga. She's got 2 kids, but she's so busy with work, she doesn't get to spend as much time with them as she would like. And especially she's really concerned about what they eat. She knows that the better food, better input, better output. And she wants her kids to be healthy and happy for as long as possible. Now she does have a college education, but she's got a little bit of a self-esteem problem, so she doesn't think she's that smart. So if you can make her feel like she's smart, she's going to be a dedicated reader to you. If you can make her tap in to all those things in her brain that are already there and give her the confidence to do that, she will love you and she will share you. And she also likes to spend her time crafting and gardening and doing things around the house. Why is that important? Because that also ties into product deals, joint ventures, that kind of thing. If you are writing a book for yoga people and you get a chance to partner with someone who does holistic crafts from around the world, that's a great opportunity for someone like Joan to buy your book, be introduced to your partner, and everybody makes a little bit off of her purchase with your new partner. So that's why these things are so important, because it gives you a purpose and a focus. And if you're writing without a purpose or a focus, it makes the process so much harder. So, 15-minute assignment. Well, actually, it's probably a little bit longer than 15 minutes, sorry, but it's okay. So 1, craft a survey. So you can use Google Docs, you can use SurveyMonkey, 3 to 5 questions, no more than 3 minutes to answer, to get you some good, basic, generalized data about your readers. 2, you're going to either find a survey that you can use or a questionnaire that you can use for your reader profiles, or you're going to make one. I mean, I recommend just going ahead and finding one online. It just makes it so much easier. I found mine by searching customer profile questionnaire. It was quick and easy, came up within seconds. And 3, schedule a conversation with someone to fill out that questionnaire and get used to the process. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week. Hopefully, give me a second. Why am I not working? Oh, there we go. We are having technical difficulties, but I'm doing the best I can, people. Thank you so much. I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.